Good afternoon, Rotarians. This is Dave Alexander from the Program Committee, and today we're going to be hearing about West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission upon their 50th anniversary. And we have with us today Aaron Kuhn, the Executive Director. We have Kathy Evans, the Environmental Program Manager. And we have Joel Fitzpatrick, Transportation Planning Director. For a group of 3 individuals with a agency of 40 or 50 years, they have 45 years already in the bank with this agency specifically. And of the 9 or 10 or so staff members at the agency, there are over 100 years of experience. So they have quite the historical story to tell us. Aaron, we're going to start out with you. Tell us about an agency, Whimserdick. Whimserdick? That has a local name that I would suggest would invoke giggles from the boys in the back room of any 6th grade class here in Muskegon County.
That's right. The West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission was created in 1970, and one of our board members took our acronym and coined the phrase Whimserdick, and it stuck. And we have not been able to get rid of it, and we are well known. A lot of people just know us by Whimserdick and not necessarily our full name.
What is Whimserdick?
We are a local, state, and federally designated regional planning agency. We are one of 14 across the state of really, our mission is to promote and foster regional development in West Michigan amongst local governments and regional partners. So we work a lot with the local units of government to help connect them to state and federal resources through grant dollars. We are created by local units of government. We are governed by local units of government, and we serve those local units of government. So they pay dues to us. We leverage those dues for state and federal grants and bring resources to West Michigan.
How large is your region?
We have 5 counties: Lake, Mason, Muskegon, Newaygo, and Oceana.
And over the 50 years, that has changed somewhat, but has always been headquartered in Muskegon, hasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. We were actually created in 1970 out of the Muskegon County Planning Department, and originally serviced Oceana, Muskegon, and Ottawa counties. And then in the early 1900s, our boundaries, not 1900s, 1990s, our boundaries were redrawn to include Lake, Mason, Muskegon, Newaygo, and Oceana.
Just name a couple of the program areas that you help not only local governments, but here local citizens in your region.
Yes, some of our main programs include transportation, both the Metropolitan Planning Organization and regional and rural transportation. We also do have programs in economic development and environmental planning, local government services. We are a designated census affiliate, so we work with the census and the state demographer. When we have the decennial census, we help identify census blocks. We are a water quality planning agency and manage or get the word out for air quality as well when we have Clean Air Action Days.
Let's dig down, drill down, they say, in the environmental area. I think most all of us know Kathy Evans, who is the Environmental Program Manager, a champion for our environment. And why don't you tell us what you do at Whimserdick and what Whimserdick does for our environment here in the region?
Sure. I am manager and manage several different programs under the environmental program. Some of them are very regional. On that, in larger 13 county region, we spend a lot of time working with the Muskegon Lake Area of Concern. We have programs in the areas of resilience, coastal reforestation, invasive species, quite a large variety. We work closely with local governments and watershed groups, communities, and try to help them meet their needs.
Why don't you speak a little bit here locally about what you do with the watershed partnership here for Muskegon Lake?
Sure. Yeah. Well, originally, when WMSRDC was formed under Section 208 of the Clean Water Act, a lot of the early studies on the toxics on the different lakes in West Michigan led to the realization that we still had some problems in Muskegon Lake and White Lake, and they were designated as areas of concern. And eventually the Public Advisory Council for that formed, and that group became the Muskegon Lake Watershed Partnership. We've been working very closely with the group for many years to implement large-scale cleanups and habitat restoration projects, clean water projects, and that work is continuing, and we hope that we will be delisted from that Great Lakes Areas of Concern list in a couple of years.
You've already had that accomplished for White Lake, I understand.
Yes, White Lake was delisted a few years ago. There were 14 areas of concern in Michigan, and we've delisted 2 of those. There were 28 areas of concern in the United States, and then there was the full 42 in the Great Lakes, including Canada.
Finally, something near to your and my hearts is kayaking. And I know that one of the areas that you have worked on is the Lake Michigan Water Trail. What is that, and why is it significant to Muskegon County?
Well, we were able to work with a variety of our sister agencies, regional planning agencies, and trail plan. And that is part of a 1,600-mile continuous loop water trail around Lake Michigan. Our plan reaches from Wisconsin to Indiana, all along the shoreline. And it's important to our local governments and our communities because the gap analysis that we did and the asset inventory of all the amenities really makes some strong recommendations for the type of improvements we can make. And the plan allows local governments who own access points to get grants to do these improvements because the plan gives them extra points in a competitive grant proposal scenario.
Well, if the environment is a long-term play for many of us as we go to work, school, play, here in Muskegon County, transportation is a near-term play. And Joel has been working on transportation planning for a number of years. Tell us the significance of the agency, WMSRDC, as it relates to our roads here in West Michigan.
Sure. For transportation, WMSRDC administers a number of different programs. The biggest one is the MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is the urbanized area of the county. Actually, it includes all of Muskegon County and northern Ottawa County, so the cities of Grand Haven, Ferrysburg, and the village of Spring Lake and the surrounding townships there. That's the biggest one. Then the another one is the rural/regional program, and we work cooperatively with all 5 of our counties on that program. And then also asset management. Every year we staff from our agency plus staff from the 5 county road commissions in our area plus MDOT. We go out and rate all of the federal aid roads, or up to all of the federal aid roads, 50% to 100%, depending on what each county likes. And we evaluate the conditions of all the roads in the 5 counties that are eligible for federal funding.
So name a couple of road projects that we would know very well here in the Muskegon area and how they have come through the MPO and got funding from state and federal sources, I would guess.
Sure. Any of the major roads pretty much go through our process. So a few years ago, a good example would be Getty Street. So Getty Street touches a number of municipalities, City of Muskegon Heights, Norton Shores. When people are driving on roads, they don't really care what municipality a road is. They expect it to be good. They don't expect a road to be good in one area and then all of a sudden it turns bad. So that was a good example. A number of those agencies did road projects either at the same time or back to back. Also, say Sherman Boulevard, Laketon Ave was redone a few years ago. All of those major roads typically have some federal funding that flows through. Not necessarily the money flows through our area, but the projects themselves are chosen by the committees. And those committees are made up of the local agencies. So City of Muskegon, City of Norton Shores, City of Roosevelt Park, County Road Commission, City of North Muskegon. So it's really a cooperative process, picking the roads, road projects that will best help local residents.
And one of the things we use the roads for is getting to our jobs. And one of the areas that I know Aaron has been working on a long time, even before you were executive director, is economic development. And where does a regional planning agency fit into the area of economic development and job creation?
Absolutely. We are federally designated through the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration as a local economic development district. And with that designation comes some responsibilities for us to comprehensive economic development strategy, or a CEDS. And we have a committee that helps us create that document. And we work hand in hand with the local economic development agencies, such as Muskegon Area First. We work very closely. We don't compete with each other. I like to say the work we do is really the pre-economic development to what they do. We work with the local units of government to make sure the necessary infrastructure is in place, the water, roads, sewer, for example, for industrial parks. And then the agencies like Muskegon Area First can do the marketing, retention, and attraction. So we work very closely with them on the projects that we do. Many of the industrial parks within Muskegon County and our 5 counties were created through this process. Because we do the comprehensive economic development strategy, our communities are then eligible for EDA funding. If we didn't do that, then they would not be eligible for that pot of funding. So it's something that's very important. We also work with non-governmental organizations such as Muskegon Community College. A portion of their downtown campus was put together through and constructed through an EDA grant that they received. So we like to, work with the local units of government and help put that necessary infrastructure in place to make sure those jobs have places to go.
As business editor over the years, I loved writing the list because there's a priorities out there that the region has for projects in economic development. And just name one that through your career you saw on the CEDS list and is now come to fruition.
Oh boy, there's lots of them. I think really the Muskegon Community College downtown campus is a big one. The West Shore Community College campus, trade center, skilled trade center, it was another big project. We've done major projects in all 5 of our counties. Many of the business parks in the city of Muskegon, county business parks as well. The airport business park was nationally recognized when that was put in before my tenure here, as it was a smart park. So having the necessary infrastructure in there next to the airport was a really big deal.
Outside your general program areas, you've had some special projects. You want to list a couple, Aaron?
Absolutely. Throughout the years, we've done a lot of different things. One that this group might be familiar with is the Muskegon Area-Wide Plan, where we worked with almost all of the local jurisdictions within Muskegon County and a lot of interested citizens, business leaders, to create a countywide vision that was done in the early 2000s. Some other projects that we've worked with within our 5 counties is helping our counties create a hazard mitigation plan, which is required through FEMA for when there is a national disaster declared in a community. It opens up federal funds, though that plan is required. So we have worked with our county emergency managers and written those plans for them in partnership with them. We also were fiduciary for the Region 6 Homeland Security Planning Region for about 10 years. And through that program, we helped the emergency managers and the first responders be trained, equipped, and plan for acts of terrorism or other natural disasters.
All right, we have about 4 minutes left, so I want to go around the horn here and have each of you discuss something in your area that is exciting going into the future, sort of looking into your crystal ball. What are some of the things that this agency and our region are going to be working on? Environmentally, Kathy, what's exciting you as you look in the next 2 to 5 years?
Well, resiliency is, what we're all looking for now. We want to be able to adapt to changes in our environment and in our economies. And so some of the programs that the environmental part of WMSRDC can deal with when it comes to that would be lakes and streams. That's very important for water quality. It's very important in urban areas to keep homes cool, and just a whole host of benefits that trees give us. And we have a great need in West Michigan for more trees. We are also working closely with watershed throughout the state of Michigan on a sustainable watershed funding strategy. So you'll be hearing more about that. This will require legislation at the state level, but we are hoping that at some point, maybe a year from now, that we will have a way for people to contribute voluntarily to the water quality of the lakes and streams in our region and help support the watershed groups that are doing a lot of hard work out there to mainly focus on that as their mission.
Joel, what exciting you next couple of years in the area of transportation?
Well, the one exciting thing is probably a lot more emphasis on non-motorized transportation that we plan on doing. We're going to be partnering with all of our rural counties on some non-motorized planning. Not so exciting maybe, but something that's coming up and becoming more important is more data-driven decisions on road projects. So justifying new projects, do they increase safety? Do they create jobs? Do they help freight movements? Do they solve a congestion problem? So it's going to be a lot more data collection and a lot more true justification of transportation projects.
Aaron, I'm not going to be here for it. Maybe you will, but what's the next 50 years of WMSRDC look like?
Well, I see us maintaining our existing programs, but really adapting like we have over the previous 50 years. Some of the things that I see on the horizon for our agency is again, like Kathy said, resiliency amongst all of our programs. We have experienced a lot of economic distress and over the last few months specifically, and some environmental issues. Resiliency and coordinate our programs. And one thing that's very unique about us is we have all of these programs under one roof, and that way we can work together and coordinate the plans amongst program areas and really make more of an impact. Another exciting program that we have in the future is more involvement in asset management, and that's really how do we assist our local asset owners for which is mostly our local units of government that own water, roads, and sewer. How do we help them maintain that infrastructure and plan for improvements and expansions, and just make it more cost effective on how we manage that infrastructure well into the future. So that's another area that I see our agency morphing into over the next several years.
Thank you very much to Aaron, Kathy, and Joel. We learned a little bit more about what WMSRDC's about, And I would just like to say, as part of the community development team here, WMSRDC has been a strong partner with all of us in Muskegon County who are working for a better community. And we have 3 outstanding individuals from that agency here with us today. And we'll send it back to President Linda.